This is Brian Drummond here, the OG voice of Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, and you're watching Anime Secrets. It's over 9,000!
Is doing today? My name is Daniel. I'm from the Legacy of Nerd. We're going to have our Power Rangers panel starting right now. So if you guys start clapping while we introduce our cast members. First off, we got Tony Oliver. You guys may know him as the voice of Saba. Next up, we got Danny Wayne. He was a stunt performer on most of the series of Power Rangers when he was here. Yeah. And then next, we got our original Black Ranger, Mastodon. Welcome, Walter Jones. And then, of course, we got our original Red Ranger leader. Not that red one, but Austin St. John. Austin St. John. So, you guys are everywhere now. It seems like Power Rangers is making a comeback this year. You got new toys. They're talking about a reboot. But I think the biggest thing that happened recently is you guys are on Fortnite. Fortnite, yeah, man. So,
they're getting their butts kicked by a bunch of 10-year-olds.
Do any of you guys play Fortnite by chance?
I played it the other day for the first time and I died lots of times.
Did you play it yourself?
I didn't. I got it. I'm planning to. I'm working on. I'm trying to build a Twitch streaming thing so I can stream with the fans and do the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
And you're talking about doing that as well.
Yeah, so I'm working with Fanword. Walter and I are both with Fanword, but we just have so many cool things. But I'm setting up a Discord and a Twitch, and we're going to stream, and I'm going to play with the fans. We're going to do some cool stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
So, we're talking about this year. They got the new toy line with Playmates and the reboots. Playmates is doing Power Ranger toys now.
That had a whole other meaning when I was a kid, didn't it? All right.
So I was going to get your idea, because one of the big things they talked about recently was that there is a reboot in works with Disney Plus Hulu by the show creators of Percy Jackson. And I want to know what your thoughts on that, everybody on the panel.
I had no idea it was the makers of Percy Jackson. I mean, that's cool. Disney had the show before, so it doesn't surprise me they have it again. I would be really excited to see what direction they take. I had hopes for a dark direction, because like Batman started cheesy and now we have the Dark Knight. But if it's Disney, I don't think we're going that direction.
And the last one, it seemed like they, from when they dropped the teaser, it looked like it had the potential to be that way, and then it totally was not. And so I'm with Austin. I'd like to see it grow up a little bit, you know what I mean, and get a little edgier. And I think the fans appreciate that, and they don't want to. They want to see growth, even in a brand. They don't want to see just stagnation. You know what I mean?
I just also think that if you're going to do a reboot, I mean, there's been several versions and kind of semi-reboots that have happened, and they've all been lovely. But if you're going to reboot something, reboot it. I mean, really reboot it, rebuild it, give it a different flavor, and bring it out. I'm hoping that's what they do. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but I'm hoping that's what they do.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there will be some possibility for us to be involved. I think that is an idea because we have 32 years of fans, so 3 decades of fans, and obviously our name recognition and our likeness would bring more to the franchise.
Maybe you're the OG Playmates.
Now, kind of talking about you guys are all the original crew. We got the producer, we got the stunt performers here as well. Now, that first season, you guys, I've talked to Rangers after you guys, but you guys were known to be in the suit more often than most people were later on. Now, how much were you guys in the suits compared to him in the suit doing the stunts? I was curiosity.
He did a lot of the stunts. I mean, they were in the suits most of the time. We did a lot of transitional things. So we would fight and run up and take off the helmets, that kind of thing.
Well, I think when they cast these guys, they cast very physically talented people right off the bat, thinking that they would be able to do both. But if you've ever done anything in production, you know that that's almost impossible time-wise, because they need to be with first unit shooting all the hero scenes in whatever location as themselves as the actors. Meanwhile, we're second unit spending literally 12 hours from like dawn to dusk fighting all day until we lose the light. And it takes that just to complete the episode. And not only that, heaven forbid you have an accident with one of us doing a fight sequence, jumping off stuff, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We're expendable, you know what I mean? So, whereas they are not. He breaks an ankle, your show's down for weeks, you know, or they're writing it into the script.
Yeah, it's the stunt thing was original. That was part of the concept to keep the budget down. Was that everybody was just going to do the thing, but it became.
Wait, what? There was a budget?
Yeah, well, such as it was. But it turned out pretty quickly that you're right. The way we had it set up originally, they had to shoot 4 episodes a week. It went down to 3 eventually, but 3 episodes a week is nearly impossible to pull off when you're doing it normally. And when you're doing a show like Rangers, which is so technical, a lot of, even though it's funny and it's kind of I called it fromage, not cheese, but kind of cheesy and all that stuff, there's still an enormous amount of technical stuff that has to be done. You have to create, every one of those props they had, they don't buy it at the store, they had to make it. Every fight has to be choreographed. Everything has to be done to the T, so it was impossible for them to continue.
I think one of the things that we did do, because with the original cast, they wanted martial artists, they wanted gymnasts, they wanted dancers, they wanted people who wouldn't have an issue with the physicality of the role. And so that did allow, like Walter and I, because Walter was a martial artist, that allowed us to do a ton of the unmorphed fight scenes, which you saw us doing all the time. And we weren't afraid of it, we had a blast doing it. I choreographed every fight I ever did for those. And that was a lot of fights. But that was a blast, that was always third unit. And ABC or Charlie unit. Charlie unit was fighting, Bravo unit did a lot of fights. And that was second unit with like Koichi and the other stunt choreographers and directors, and the level of talent. To this day, there's probably over 3,000 martial arts, probably more now. I think we had half of those guys on set, and you could not walk onto set with any sense of humility and not learn something every day. So it was incredible to be around Bridget Riley and Koichi and so many of these just incredibly talented fighters out there, Danny and other gymnasts like Eric Betts and these guys that they all had their niche.
Richard Brandon was like a expert at wushu.
He was going to China for the competition. He broke his leg on a stunt, and that ruined his competition. But that's the risk that the stunt guys take.
We weren't supposed to talk about that either.
We don't talk about Bruno. Okay.
No, but honestly, for you guys as fans, like, isn't it so much more believable for you when you see Austin and Walter kicking butt as civilians, and then when they morph and turn into the Power Ranger, even though it's us, you know that they were very capable of doing that. So for you, it's a total buy-in that it's the same character, the same, the transition is smooth,
Although it was sometimes odd, because sometimes the stunt guys were taller than us. or shaped differently. I was like, wait, that doesn't look like me. It's odd, but it all worked out.
Suspension of disbelief.
Have y'all talked to later cast later on and kind of see the differences in their productions with the earlier seasons?
Yeah, I mean, what happened later on in the cast, I don't know the reasoning necessarily, but the later cast they weren't as physical. They didn't do a lot of the physical fights. Maybe because of the fact that the possibilities of them getting hurt could cause a problem in production.
They did scale down that.
Insurance, honest to God, insurance has a lot to do with that, what they're willing to cover and what they're not.
So I did the first 10 seasons from starting about halfway through first season, going all the way through Wild Force. So with them, we did a ton of fights with the actors. Progressively through the years, they realized, you're going to have them morph sooner anyways, because back then they would use Japanese footage, so when it changed to the Rangers, you'd see Tokyo in the background, because it was a cheap show, and they were getting a lot of footage from the show over there. But then it started not fitting with the American storylines, And I think kids picked up pretty quick that, oh, that's Tokyo, that's not Angel Grove or whatever. So then we started shooting more and more of it here, but as we did that, they would write when the transition happens a little bit sooner, and they would scale back the fights with the actual actors so that we could do more crazy stuff, and then they could have the actors for more time on first unit.
Honestly, it's more efficient.
It
It's less from a budget standpoint. It's more efficient. Sorry, the producer and me is coming out.
I can tell you where I got in trouble. I'm pretty sure I gave people a stroke and a couple of heart attacks. We did the live show at Universal. And so, very different live versus on a set somewhere you get to take two. And you can mitigate risk by, adding crash pads and shooting in different angles and make it look higher than it is. On stage, there's none of that. It is what it is and everybody can see it. And I was, 18, young, dumb, and full of stuff. And there was this great big platform on the stage, and I saw it, I was like, and I watched everybody do their intros. I was like, no, man. No, wait, what's that? I'm gonna flip off of that. And they're like, no, you're not. Austin, you're not going to flip off of that. It's dangerous. What if you break your leg, Austin? Don't do that. Yalla, come here, Austin. Let's talk to you. And I was like, I'm doing it. And so then they went from absolutely not, you could die, we don't know what to do, to he could die on stage live.
No, actually, what I said, that's a great effing idea, because it's going to look great. So, sorry.
They got behind it, and next thing I know, there's pyrotechnics and explosions. And the first one I did, I completely over-rotated, but I rolled and tucked, and the whole...
Saved it.
Yeah, the whole point to Hollywood is if you don't stop and go, oh my God, I screwed up, most of the time people don't know you screwed up. You just keep it going, keep the show going. All the ones after that, I stuck it. But there was one time on set where I did a flip off of a rock, and they were like, we're not going to do that. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go flip off of that rock. You're welcome to bring the cameras. I thought I had this in the bag because I got so tired of being told what I couldn't do. I've never responded well to that. And so I get over there and I did this front flip. It was actually a Russian off the top of this rock, and they shot it from a couple angles. I was like, that's gonna be the coolest thing I've ever done. And then I realized who has the power. And it's called the director. And it's called the editing floor, where the film that showed my flip, they showed me start to jump at the top of the rock, and then they showed my feet landing in the sand, and I was like, no, I got duped.
Now, we're kind of getting towards the end here, but I did have a question kind of more geared towards Austin and Walter. And you guys famously, you had the falling out. You guys left in the middle of season 2, and we're supposed to do Cyberforce. What is Cyberforce? Nobody seems to know what it is.
So what it was is we were working with a manager, and we were trying to put together a project that was gonna focus on Twee, Austin, and myself. It was another science fiction project to capitalize on the popularity we already had. As things happen in Hollywood, we had a script, we had people behind us. There was financing, but then things start falling through the cracks, and somebody falls out, and next thing you know, it doesn't happen. So, but we made a poster, and I've been seeing the poster a lot online. People are like, "What is this Cyberforce?" It would have been a really cool project. It was a science fiction project that had to deal with like space and being superheroes and the whole thing, but different from Power Rangers. Unfortunately, it just never happened.
Do we have time for a couple of questions from the fans, or?
We should repitch it.
Yeah, one or two. Anybody have a question? Come up here, and I'll come and get you. All right, just tell us your name and go ahead and tell us your question.
Hi, my name's Matt. I was talking to you guys earlier, and I was asking if you could tell the story about the Time Force cycles.
So we have these giant motorcycles and because we didn't have a huge budget, they were salvaged Katana 900. They're these massive bikes to begin with. But the fact that they were a bunch of salvaged bikes, our transpo team would try to fix them back up as much as possible. So they were a little bit sketched to begin with, and we were asked to do stuff like pop wheelies and do all these crazy things. But then they would go and add like all these cannons and fairings to make the bikes supersized, Power Ranger sized. and that made it so incredibly front end heavy. During one of the shots, it was me and another guy actually doubling for pink and yellow, because at that point we didn't have the massive amount of badass stunt women that we have nowadays who can ride motorcycles. Back then it was just a much smaller pool. And so oftentimes us guys would have to get on the bikes with our padded bra and padded booty in order to shoot the sequences. And we had one where we had to take off on the bikes, and the day before the shoot, I noticed one of my front shocks was leaking a little bit of hydraulic fluid. And I pointed it out to the transpo guys, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll fix it. Next day, we shoot the scenes, both of us are supposed to take off, pop wheelies, ride it, and then drop down and take off, right? So, that morning I see that the fluid's been cleaned up, so I think, oh, they fixed it. Nope, not so much. Someone just took a napkin and basically wiped the fluid away, and so one of the shocks is softer than the other. So we go to take off, pop the wheelie, ride out, and then as soon as I touch down, the whole front end just goes and just goes to jump. And it's bad enough when that's on a regular motorcycle. Usually you can just lock up your arms and stiffen out and ride it out. Nope, this thing was having none of that, and because of all the additional weight on the fairings, the front end just wanted to dive. So me and the bike are going down, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ditch and get off of it. So I do that, but then we both go sliding for like another 40, 50 feet. And I'm now in front of the bike because it went down this way, and the bike is hard, solid plastic and metal, and it's heavier than me, and it's chasing me, and I finally have to block my hands and feet off on this thing, and it's like pushing me across the floor. And so we finally come to a stop. I get up, half the spandex is chewed off on my backside, and we get like a little bit of a road rash. And I immediately bounce up and head straight for the transpo team. And the rest of the stunt team jumped on me and grabbed me and pinned me down. They're like, don't do it, don't kill him, don't kill him. So, but yeah, the bikes were insane. We're pretty cool though.
Thank you for your question. Well, guys, we are wrapping up. I want to thank everybody for being here, and everybody give a round of applause to our Power Rangers cast.
Thanks a lot, guys. Good to see you. If you haven't come by the table and say hello, please do.
And we appreciate you all, seriously. Thank you for coming to all the cons.